Well, for those of you who are joining us live on Facebook, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. Webinar Wednesdays feels like home now. As you can see, the Maestro Entrepreneur Center is definitely centered on making sure that you get educated with some of the most up-to-date information, programs, and introduce some of our dedicated community partners such as Microsoft. And you're going to see today's presentation for Webinar Wednesdays, which is a tech module from Microsoft. But today we're going to focus on best practices and we're going to continue the journey. Give us one more minute as we continue to allow people to enter the platform as our attendees are preparing themselves as well. But again, welcome to Webinar Wednesdays, and we're always looking forward to having you with us. So just give us one more minute and we'll launch and just enjoy each other's company. Well, it's Webinar Wednesday, and welcome again. This is our final module with Microsoft. And again, today is best practices and continuing the journey with Microsoft. Our English version is from 11 a.m. to 12, and don't forget to join us for our Spanish version from 12 to 1. Now, it is always a pleasure being able to get to know new people, and especially our businesses. And today, we're going to get to know this week's winner. Sabrina, do we have our winner online? Because I'm really looking forward to meeting Dr. Marlin.
He is not on just yet.
Not an issue. But I do want to get to know before we get started is, as you know, with Buy Local Grow SA, we start by making sure that you're informed about Buy Local Grow SA. Now, it's a one-stop shop, a website that's got resources for small businesses, and Buy Local is a platform designed for business owners like yourself. Now, through the website, you're going to be able to access free resources ranging from procurement opportunities to promoting your businesses and increasing visibility for free. Now, we have some new enhancements and features, such as having the ability to post business promotions to your profile. So if you have a new product or service that you want to be able to present, you take this new product and you can use Buy Local Grow SA as another avenue to advertise your services and products. We've also added some other procurement opportunities where you can save the ones that you're interested, along with the ability to post contract opportunities that you know of as well. It takes about 5 minutes to register, but once you're registered and approved, you're going to unlock a whole new way of doing business here in San Antonio. Now, as you can see on our screen, the QR code, utilize that QR code, and it's going to take you directly to the site. But if you don't use a QR code, you could always register by going to the maestro.org site. Now, the other thing too is, I want to make sure that you know that our giveaway this week, we have 1 week left. So we've got one business opportunity left to win the Buy Local Grow SA $500 grant. Now, the last day to register, as you can see, is going to be September the 18th. So take full advantage of that, because we want to see, one, increase on the businesses that we have available. So when you go to our site, you can go to our Facebook where you can follow us. You can also follow us on Instagram. You can connect with us professionally at LinkedIn, and then you can share your post. You can tag another local business for a chance to win. And who can forget those hashtags? Hashtag Buy Local Grow SA. It's always a great opportunity to be able to share and expand what we have here in San Antonio to offer. Now, Sabrina, I would really love to, meet the winner, but I know sometimes business is business. And in this opportunity, our winner is Dr. Marlon K. John. He is a PhD. He's a lieutenant colonel, retired from the Army, a combat veteran.
And he is actually on the call right now.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome. Dr. Marlin? Is he on, Sabrina?
Yes, it shows that he is on here.
Ah,
Hi,
welcome, sir. Welcome.
good morning. How you guys doing?
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And I'm sure you're probably busy helping another veteran out there or maybe advocating for us as well. Please, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you
from
very
one
much.
service member to another. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much for
Tell me
yours.
about Military Vice Project.
So Military Vice Project, we are a service organization. We are geared towards serving the veterans community as well. So we started off with a little project, a tiny home village that we built for homeless veterans. We're currently on the west side of town. And we quickly realized that homelessness among veterans, particularly our generation of veterans, was usually something symptomatic and not, the chronic underlying issue. So since then, we've branched out. We now have a program we're working on with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, so that if you are a veteran, regardless of discharge status, and you get arrested and you can't afford to pay bail, we will come get you out or get you released. And we're also expanding into entrepreneurship, which is something we'll look to be bringing forth in perhaps the next month or so.
That's amazing. Now, one of the things that interests me, because we as entrepreneurs, we're always looking, as you said, tiny home village.
That is correct.
Tell me about that.
So what we did was that when we're looking at building or getting into the providing housing options for homeless veterans, tiny homes were kind of the new it thing. And it just made so much sense at the time. As veterans, we don't need a lot of space. A lot of times we just need somewhere safe, and a roof over our heads that we can call home. So, it made a lot of sense to me. I got the opportunity at the time to kind of sit down with some city council members when they were voting on the last update for our building code. So we got that actually put into the code that the tiny homes are now allowed, or they're kind of doing a pilot with our program to allow tiny homes to be constructed in San Antonio.
Wonderful. And as a veteran, for those of you who don't know, we were at one time homeless, and those are very much needed. It's a community that you kind of seek out. So congratulations and moving forward with that and accomplishing that, because it takes a lot of collaboration. Congratulations for being this week's winner. As our audience, if you want to be able to get involved, I will always advocate for you to volunteer, get to know the community. We all know a veteran. We all know someone that's active duty, and we always take great pride in being able to support our families who are currently serving, as well as when they return. They always seem to continue to serve afterwards. Do they not, Dr. John?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of one thing that, so just the Military Vice Project, and I've worked in a couple other veterans organizations here. A lot of us veterans, we do, come back and we find other service organizations that continue to serve the community. So, just look at what you're doing, and I can tell you a ton of guys from Mission Continues and Team Rubicon and all those other cool organizations that I've gotten, to work with very recently. It's for some of us, it's we enjoy the call to serve, and so getting out of the military does not end that journey. So it's definitely something that we're incorporating at Military Vice Project ourselves to provide our membership, or fellow brothers and sisters in arms the opportunity to continue to serve. But there are tons of opportunities out there, and you're always going to find a veteran. Just about everywhere you go, you're going to find a veteran, willing to help make a greater good.
Absolutely. Well, welcome. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. Congratulations.
Thanks again.
And those who want to learn, absolutely. And for those who want to learn more about Military Vice Project, as you can see, his contact information is online. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, he's local, and you can find him on Buy Local, Grow SA. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
And to our audience, absolutely. I look forward to hearing more about you and seeing you grow as you continue to support, not just San Antonio, but the surrounding areas as well.
Great. Thanks again for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Now, I stated earlier, we have 1 week left. Just want to touch on base again. We have 1 week left. Take the time to register. Our cutoff date is September the 18th, 2020. But why are we here today? Today, we're here to be able to learn about you know, what next level, okay? But as we get to that next level, we have to remember who helped us get here. We want to thank, you know, our sponsors, because without our sponsors, this would not have been possible. We have HEB, the City of San Antonio, the Economic Development Department, Wells Fargo, you know, and then again, you see all of our supporters, all the chambers, all the business developments, to them and to as well as to our audience who are attending. Thank you to you. Now, today's module is our brought to you by Microsoft. It's going to be presented to you by Chrissy Solomon. Okay, now we've had her for 2 weeks prior. This is our third and final week. Chrissy Solomon is the training specialist for Microsoft. Now, she was a former technician at Microsoft at a retail store. She's now the training specialist, and she works directly with corporate businesses to train her employees in Microsoft 365 suite. Now, she brings this passion to learning as well as to growing, you know, the capabilities of the customers by showing them how to empower them by using the tools at their disposal. Miss Solomon, third and final round. Tell me what we're going to teach our audience today.
Well, hello, and thank you again for having me today. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you just really quickly. So
Absolutely.
today we're going to go over best practices and continuing the journey. So I know with all of us, you know, whether we are in the consumer side of things or the business side of things, we always want to know where will we go next, what we need to do, stuff like that. And today I'm going to teach you guys about that. But before we get really started with what are the best practices, I just want to throw some facts out there for everybody. I know we're geared especially towards the business side of things, and I just want to give you guys some kinds of metrics. So right now I am on one of our Microsoft pages, and we're looking over the global threats that we are currently facing, not only as consumers, but as business owners as well. Just to throw some facts out there, when we're talking about cybersecurity and our own personal security, especially with our businesses, we want to make sure that, you know, we are protected. And some facts about protection is that about 60% of small to medium businesses fail after a breach, and almost 50% of small businesses have experienced a cyber attack before. So what we like to show off is saying, hey, we totally get it. It's gonna happen eventually to someone, but this is where we come in and say these are the things that we want to protect you as Microsoft against. So I'm going to show off some little statistics that we've got right now. So within the last 30 days, go ahead.
Mhm. Well, so what you're telling me is that you're going to be able to provide us with some of the most, even now, right now, as we're speaking, some of the top attacks that have happened even during our conversation right now?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, that is a fact with the current world that we live in. We are using technology at a rapid pace, and it's always evolving. And right now, as we speak, somebody is being attacked. The most affected industries right now that we're seeing in the last 30 days is education, because we are, you know, getting back into school and things. And then the second most attacked region of any business is going to be business and professional services. So we're seeing a lot more of those cybersecurity attacks going on in those two fields right now. And one of the, we have, and I'm scrolling down this page, some of the most common attacks that we see are going to be stuff with malware. So ransomware, you go to a website, download something, and it attacks your computer. Advanced attacks, which are going to be those really high level security threats. And then the most common one that we see, especially in small to medium businesses, is phishing. So if you ever get, say, like an email, stuff like that, that says, hey, PayPal wants you to sign in to their website again and put in on your account information because we have a $5 million charge to your account. That would be kind of a ridiculous email, and that's more one of those phishing type emails. So these are all of the most big attacks that we see right now. And I like to bring this up before I start talking about our security, because a lot of people don't realize, hey, I may have been affected by this. So that kind of gets that light bulb moment of, okay, let's see what we're actually dealing with before we move on to how can we stop that and how can we fix it.
And that makes sense. So you're going to show us some of the things on how you're going to be able to manage some of these. We're not saying eliminate, but at least manage.
Exactly. And so whenever we're talking about security, the best way to stop a security attack is to have those protections in place beforehand. So one of the things
Absolutely.
that Microsoft we as we've talked before, Juanita, we like our things in threes. So we have three
Of course.
different types of security features that we like to highlight whenever we are talking about security. So the first thing that I want to highlight for our business customers out there is Microsoft Intune. So Microsoft Intune is going to be an automated rollout system that you will be able to roll out to all of, not only you as the owner or the CEO, but all of your employees as well. This is a device management without compromising control. So even us as Microsoft employees use Microsoft Intune. This allows for you to control, hey, we want to make sure that all of our stuff is safe. We want to have multi-factor authentication. But, you know, me as an employee, I like to work while I'm listening to music. So I'm still able to download stuff like Spotify and stuff like that on my work computer because we are not sacrificing that control of the
Right.
employee to, you know, make their work device their own personal device. And so that's why we really like to highlight Intune. And then as well, the reason we like to highlight Intune is because whenever you are working, technological issues happen. Especially with rolling out deployment, stuff like that. And one thing that I really like to highlight with Intune is we do have deployment experts and support experts that are available for you anytime and for your business. So say you're kind of scratching your head a little bit and you don't know necessarily why Intune is not being rolled out correctly, or maybe that one of your employees is facing some sort of issue with their Microsoft Intune, well, we have experts ready for you that you can get support at any time of the day.
Okay, now this is going to sound naive, and my audience, you can snickle at me, but what exactly guided to create Intune? Because is it security? Is it additional, alerts? Maybe I'm misunderstanding what Intune is.
Absolutely. So what Intune is that device manager. So if you've
Okay.
ever worked in any sort of like a retail environment or what have you, and they give you, say, a work computer. Now, you don't want to give your employee just a random computer that they can do whatever willy-nilly with. That, you know, say if you have important work documents on there that they access, you don't want to allow them to send that out to third-party companies that you don't want your data being sacrificed to. So what Intune does is it rolls out those device policies to allow you to control what information is going where, who's getting access to that information, and then also when we're talking about security, making sure that your employees have secure protections. So one of the bigger, I won't say the biggest, but one of the bigger issues that we see with a lot of like account hacking is insecure passwords. So, you know, you don't want your employee to put their computer password as password 12. You know, You want to make sure they have that secure password, multi-factor authentication, so that whenever they are trying to access any sort of company things, that they are the ones accessing it. So if, say, again, we were talking about people with ransomware and phishing emails, if they try to get access to, you know, your account or your employee's account, they have that authentication that stops them and says, hey, we got to make sure this is really you, type thing. So go ahead.
Well, and I'm glad you're able to read that, because the first thing that came into my thought process is you introduced VPN. Is this something that works in conjunction with VPN? Because we've been told security, mobile security, all the devices. Is this something that works interacts with the VPN?
Yes, absolutely. And you can actually set up Microsoft Intune to require your users to use a VPN. So we have one
Okay.
with our company. It's Microsoft VPN. That's just the one that we built for our, whole stores everywhere. So
Mhm.
Microsoft Intune requires that we use that specific VPN. So this is something that can be used in conjunction with a lot of different tools that you may already have in your business, and it's immediately rolled out to you. So as soon as a new computer gets set up, then we see that Intune will just roll out and apply all those policies, so you don't have to go through and manually put those policies in.
So great. Check. Microsoft Intune, Square, checked off. But how do I defend against, the malware, the ransomware? What's my
Absolutely.
defender?
Absolutely. So that's our next one. We have Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection. So most
Okay.
people who have Windows 10 PCs can actually go onto their PC right now, click their little Microsoft logo in the bottom left-hand corner, and look up Windows Security. And that's an antivirus that is already pre-built into your system. With
Okay.
Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection, this is the next step. So this is your enterprise level security. We like to call it a complete endpoint security solution. So this is something that is not just the antivirus. This also gives you analytics if you did have a breach, what happened, where it happened, how did it happen. You get all those analytics with it as well. And the thing that I like to touch on most when we're talking about Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection is that it is always up to date. So this specific endpoint security solution is actually managed by our cloud. So it is never out of date. It always updates to the most, the specific ransomware or the phishing that we do see happen most often, and it's updating constantly, so you're always protected. As well, this is automated. So what I was talking about with Intune, how we roll out those policies, same thing here with advanced threat protection. This right here is automatically rolled out with your policies, and it makes sure that your employees are keeping up to date with their specific antivirus, their security, stuff like that. So you never have to worry, well, did my employee update their device? Did they update their defender? What happened? And you're constantly anxiety. None of that. It's all here for you. And we like,
So
go
I'm
ahead.
going to get excited about, no, I'm going to get excited about this because I learned this term from you. It's real time. It's happening now. And you touched this when we first started about, right now you're saying everything needs to be updated. You said real time. So if I get off right now and I get back on, automatically it's now. It's 10, 11, 23, 11, 23, 01. As I'm working with it, I'm being safeguarded, not 2019, you're talking 2020, 11/23.
Exactly. So you never have to worry about, okay, did, it update to the current viruses that are being, you know, sent out right now from all around the world. No, we are updating that within minutes, and so you are constantly being kept up to date on everything. And then the thing that I like about it as well is what I was talking about before, is those optics are also real time. So if your advanced threat protection does detect a security flaw, or does detect that there is a breach in your security, which happens sometimes, unfortunately, but if it does detect that breach, you are there and you are immediately notified, hey, we've got code red, this is what's happening, and this is where it's happening, and this is why it happened. Or you are getting, say somebody is attacking or trying to attack your system, it lets you know, hey, we detected this was happening, but we've cut it off and it's good to go now.
And I'm assuming that was converted also into your application, because one of the things that I love about your service with Microsoft is, you know, one of the things that's recommended for me is always to, you know, download the new app. And I'm getting updates on my phone, because sometimes I don't have the opportunity to take a computer, but with the easy accessibility of my mobile phone, right? Or my tablet, I'm getting alerts. I mean, I'm sitting here right now and I'm getting alerts on my laptop. You know, it has been updated. Please download the newest updates. And I think that's my third one that you're going to be offering me.
Yes, absolutely. So, moving off of Defender and what it can do for you, talking about apps specifically, we want to talk about mobile device management. So, in the world today, we are constantly on our computers, on our desktops, what have you, but we are seeing a high increase of devices, such as phones, such as tablets, such as iPads, being used for work related things. So, this is where our number 3 comes in, which is our mobile device management. This
Right.
allows you to roll out those policies that you, as your corporation, want to enact on your specific employees' devices. So I like to highlight the enroll managing the devices page that we have on our support.microsoft.com. And I just want to highlight a few things. Making device
Absolutely.
management available for your company is as easy as a click. There are 2 steps for it. You have going to your admin center. If you have a Microsoft 365 business license, you will have an admin center. Going into your admin center and then immediately just going into that mobile device management right there. And that allows for you to start rolling out those policies for your specific employees' devices if they have work-related apps. Some things include that they can't download work-related apps without accepting the mobile device management on their phone or on their tablet. Some other things would be like setting a secure password. I know, you know, it's really easy to have a 4-digit password on your phone because it's short,
Mm.
but you know, with our specifically talking about like Microsoft and working off of my phone, I have to have a 6 to 8 digit password, you know, so that's a little bit more secure as well. There, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We have specific things that you can do for, you know, if you are rolling out mobile device management on your employees' devices. Say, I know some companies still provide a work phone for their employees, but what happens if an employee suddenly takes off of that phone? And that's a
Mm.
very scary thing for some businesses because they don't want that to happen. But the the fact of it all is that it does. So
Yes.
you have options to actually wipe the device completely of all of your work related apps. So anything that was touched by your organization, whether it be a document, whether it be an application, whether it be emails, completely gone. And you can wipe that whole entire device. As well, you can actually block certain devices. So say if, again, employee took off with that device and you wipe the device, but you want to make sure that it does not, you know, try to access any more of your organizations, applications, and work, anything, documents, you can actually block that device so that it has no access to any of your stuff. You can turn off, or you can roll an auto block for, you know, non-compliant devices or unsupported devices, meaning I know a lot of people don't like to update their phones because they're worried about their data, but say if you have a specific policy that says, hey, my employees got to keep their device all the way up to date to the newest version of whatever operating system they're working off of, and your employee doesn't do that, you can actually do like a temp block on them and say, hey, you got to update your device so that we can make sure it's super secure before we move anywhere else.
Now, some businesses can't afford to give a mobile, get a cell phone for their employees.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to do work. And I know for myself, with our business, right, is that I have to do it. I'm in constant communications with our clients and as with my colleague. The other thing too is social media. If for some reason businesses aren't able to provide a cell phone to their employees, can their personal phones be safeguarded? As far as, because we talk about business, but then we also have to take into consideration our personal lives.
Absolutely. And
How is
that's
that? How is this program working?
yeah, so absolutely on that one. I apologize. So you will actually see, because I use my personal device for my work stuff as well, and that is something that Microsoft takes into account, is that you do have the option to roll out these mobile device management policies to your employees' personal devices. When we're talking about like wiping a device, for example, what I brought up earlier, most people would assume that is wiping the whole entire device and then now it's completely obsolete. But no, it actually, you can pick and choose what you want to wipe from a device. So if you want to roll out a policy for personal devices through your organization, you can actually choose to only delete the information that pertains to your organization. So right now I have Outlook on my mobile phone, which has all my work emails. If tomorrow I, said, hey, I'm moving on to a different company, I've got a little bit more growth, what have you, Microsoft can choose to wipe only my email from Outlook. That's it. Not
Okay.
any of my pictures, none of my text messages, none of my personal stuff or any of my social media. It will just lock me out of my work email on Outlook. And that's it. So
Okay.
you have that customization of, what you can roll out with your device management and stuff like that.
Now, that gives me a great peace of mind because we've had some great opportunities with work with some phenomenal colleagues, but like you said, it was time for them to get to that next level. And so that gives me a little bit of security as we collaborate, or it comes to an end of not being able to collaborate. But we talk about emails and calendars. I heard you say Outlook, right?
Yes.
Tell me about Outlook.
Absolutely. So let me get to my little tab over here. I apologize.
No. I see all your little book of tricks there. I see that.
Absolutely. We want to make sure we got this all good and set to go. Cool. So
Okay.
yeah, what I was talking about beforehand was Outlook. So that is your email and your calendar all pulled up into one. And the cool thing about Outlook is it's actually free. So whenever you're talking about any sort of subscription based and stuff like that that we have with the Microsoft 365 suite, we talk a lot about, okay, this comes with this comes with this, but Outlook is actually available for you right now, no subscription required. And the reason that I like to talk about Outlook and its whole thing is because you do have that calendar and the emails all in one place, but you actually have enterprise level security with Outlook. So
Enterprise?
enterprise.
Elaborate on that, because again, remember, I have limited understanding of these, and explain what enterprise means.
Absolutely. So two things that I like to point out with Outlook. Um, with Outlook itself, your data is controlled by you. So I like to show this page specifically because it shows the differences in what I mean by enterprise level security and then the data that's controlled by you. So on the left-hand side, when we're talking about your data, you have the options of your privacy, how much you want to share out. So Microsoft is very transparent about the data that we collect, and you are able to say, hey, these are the informed decisions that I want to use with Outlook. There are easy to use tools and clear choices when you're talking about managing your data. And then also when I was talking about that enterprise level security, we are looking at all of the same tools that we roll out to our business customers, so our enterprise level customers. I'm talking about the big ones up there. Let's say Exxon or Shell, those big, huge conglomerates. We have a lot of tools that we roll out to them. We use the same ones for just regular Outlook as well to make sure that your data is encrypted in your mailbox and after an email is sent. So you have that high level of security against, any sort of attacks, stuff like that. The thing that I also like to mention is when we're talking about our businesses and they need that little extra step past the free Outlook that you automatically get, if you so choose, like I was talking about before, there are those phishing links that, get sent to your email and you say, hey, log into here and give me your account information. We actually, in our premium versions of Office 365, that includes Outlook as well, there is an automatic deactivation of unsafe links. So Microsoft uses AI to detect those phishing scams or those viruses or those malware, and they automatically deactivate those links in your email so that you don't even get the chance to click on them or download any of those specific, malware that people may send to you. There are virus scans, which is also included in that, what I was talking about before, the Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection. There are those scans there as well that will automatically scan every single one of your attachments that you get in your file folder so that you can make sure, hey, this isn't a virus or this doesn't contain malware that will potentially harm my computer. And then the thing that a lot of people like to talk about whenever we're talking about that security is, okay, this is great and all, but what happens if something happens to my stuff? Somebody did somehow hack into my email. I accidentally did click a phishing link. Well, that's okay, because with the premium version in your Business 365 subscription, there's ransomware detection and recovery of your important files in OneDrive. So all of your files are backed up to OneDrive, and you can recover those files in any way, shape, or form.
Right. And I remember us talking about, so basically and this is one of the things I get really excited about, you, from the moment that you've detected whether some type of hacking or potential ransomware, you create a recovery point. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Love it. I am definitely catching on.
Well, I am glad we can help you out. So, we did talk a lot about, security and stuff like that. But I kind of want to talk about how we, bring it all together in that one specific place, if you don't mind.
No, this is our third and final module with Microsoft. Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's start at point A. And we've got a few, a little bit of time, because refreshing my memory and the fact that you have tutorials is phenomenal. But I've got you here. I want to take full advantage of you. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Do it.
Okay, so our first one was drive one, right? So let's start there. Really quick version. What's step one, step two, and then to today? because I had no idea that we had enterprise grade security, even though we're a 4 to 5 man team, right? I love the fact that yes, Exxon has it. Yes, HEB has it. Maestro Center has it. But little me has the same level of security. Love it.
Absolutely. And that's what we like as Microsoft like to bring to our customers, whether you are just the average day-to-day consumer, just want, Outlook, just want, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you are still protected with all of your documents. But if you are an enterprise level customer, so somebody who needs that really, really beefy protection, you have that option as well with a little bit more premium subscription basis for you. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So the first module, what did we cover, Chrissy? Do you remember?
It is, it's a little early for me, so I don't remember
No,
right
that's
off the
okay.
top of my
No,
head.
in our no. And you know what? I'm glad you did that because I do, because it's personal for me because it is my business, and this is where I need to identify to you so I know where I'm going to need your help. The first one was drive one, the cloud. That was the fact that we were getting ready to do integration to it, and I was so excited on how going from integration, because we're I don't want the next shiny new thing. Okay, I don't want to go, and a lot of you can relate to this when we go squirrel, because it's nice, new, and shiny. You shared with us, the cloud, and how you were able to create our software, our documents, our services without a glitch. And even if there was a glitch, I'm assuming that this is where the glitch gets caught, to safeguard us. The second one was all the applications and the services across the platform that you were offering with Microsoft. Also, some of the services as far as even local, the contacts and things of that nature. But now you're telling me, and I was looking on here, and I'm super excited being able to go back over it, is, Microsoft Intune and the examples of how we're able to minimize attacks even before they potentially start. So using at this stage, with Microsoft, you also have classes locally, right? And who offers those classes right now?
Absolutely. So those classes are actually offered by us, the local team here in San Antonio. Let me see if I can't pull up real quick. I apologize. Give me one sec.
No need. No need, because that was kind of left field that you know, gotcha.
You
And
are totally good.
not intentional, but it's like, everyone talks about the cloud. Everybody talks about Drive One. Everybody talks about the apps. For me, data is extremely important. You have all of those, but I want to know, again, who are the people that I go to? I love the fact that you're here, but, you're busy and we keep you.
I was just wondering what that noise was.
You're busy, and I want to know who else can I reach out to?
Absolutely. So, I put up this little slide from PowerPoint. This is our Meet Our Team slide. So these are all of the people that we work with on a day-to-day basis here locally in San Antonio. I know we always talk about local.
Yes.
So this is locally the team that we've got to help anybody who needs that support. So of course, under my umbrella, I am one of the training specialists on our team, and the lead training solution specialist is going to be Matthew. He's going to be our manager right here, and his email is up here. So if you do need any sort of training over anything, I know last time we talked about like power apps, something that's very niche and very very small that not everybody uses, but say you need some training on that, he's the one to go to. He's the one that we can design a lesson just for you and your organization and get you guys trained up.
Okay.
Maybe you need, business devices or business hardware or business software. We have
Of
Jessica, who is
course.
our business solutions lead. She is the one to talk to about getting any sort of devices or hardware for your organization. And she can get you some of those sweet discounts. I know we want to always save money, so she's definitely the one to talk to on that end. Then we, of course, do have our people who are working in the education field. We actually have a whole
Right.
separate vertical for our education customers, so they're not caught in the wave of things. And Hunter is our education solutions lead. And he will be the one to talk to if you need any sort of hardware or devices for your education needs. And then, excuse me, finally, we've been talking about Microsoft Intune and Outlook and Teams and all of that. And if you need those specific business licenses for your organization, Luis is going to be the one to talk to, and he is our assisted sales lead. We say
Mhm.
cloud, just as an umbrella term for not only the cloud that you back up to, but the cloud licensing systems that we have. And so if
Right.
you need any of those, Luis is there. And then finally, I do like to point out the little link that I have in the bottom right-hand corner of this slide, which is support.office.com. This is the place to go if, say, we aren't available at your current moment. You're working on a document late at night and it's, midnight. Of course, I don't think any one of us are going to be awake at that time, but support.office.com is. And that website is available for you not only to troubleshoot your specific applications, but also give you some handy dandy tutorials, tips, and tricks to
Okay.
work out of.
But I remember also, you also offered another one, something called a port. That was something I
Yes,
was really interested in.
absolutely. So let me go ahead and go back to my screen. Give me one sec. There we go. So the place that I like to recommend to people when they want to go and start their journey, just to kind of get their toes dipped into the water, it's portal.office.com. So we'll go
Perfect.
ahead and let this load up. So of course it's going to bring us up to the home page because I'm already signed in, but this allows you to access any of the Office 365 apps on the web. So if I click this little waffle, I see all of the different applications that I have available for me to start playing around with. So we have like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, stuff like that. And went into Excel.
Now,
But
the main reason I wanted this to come up for our audience and those who are joining us even live is after you introduced this became one of my go-to locations. I had no idea I had so many applications on here, and I started incorporating them into my own personal business that it's made my life so much easier. So yes, this is definitely one of those sites that I wasn't even aware of. And thank you. Thank you for introducing us to it. At this time, do we have any questions? Because I'm monopolizing all of this, and you know, I don't want to do that. So one of the questions is, if I have Office 365, does it come with Outlook Premium?
so if you have the Office 365 subscription, it depends on the specific licensing that you have, what kind of tools that you get. But for the base level, yes, you get those specific features that I was talking about beforehand. The automatic deactivation of phishing links, malware scans, stuff like that. That will come with just the consumer version of Office 365. And then as well, OneDrive backing up all of your important files and data. That also comes with just the base level consumer Office 365 subscription.
And I'm assuming that's where Luis will come in if we want more details. But what if we already purchased it and we're not quite familiar with what we actually purchased? Because I've done that. I'm going to admit it. I'm guilty of doing that. I get all excited because there's certain applications or programs that I use and I'm dedicated to, but then I don't realize all the plus you know, bonuses that Microsoft offers? Where can I go to learn about my own license or what I purchased?
Absolutely. And that's where, again, we step in that training team. So if, say, you and your organization have just rolled out Office 365 for your business, we do allow for you to come in. It doesn't matter how many people you got. We will train you on whatever you need. As well, what I was saying beforehand with that support.office.com, if we aren't available at the time, or you do like to do a little self-learning, there are tutorials on there as well on how to use these specific Office applications. One of the ones that I like to point out that I never knew how to use was Excel. I'm going to admit it. I know it's one of our Office 365 applications, but it is not my strong suit. And so I had a hard time creating pivot tables. I went on to support.office.com, clicked on the Excel little button, and look through the tutorials, and boom, I found pivot tables right there ready for me to learn how to use. And the thing that I like about it is it shows you cross-platform. So not only on Windows 10, but Mac OS, the web-based version of Office, iOS, which is your iPhone, and Android as well. So it shows you all the different tutorials no matter what platform you're using.
That's great to hear, because my son uses Mac. I use, you know, a regular computer. Yes. And I didn't realize, as I was telling my son to send me documents, that he had to convert them. He says, "No, Mom, let me show you." And he went right into the tutorial and said, "This is how it's going to be converted." I was going, aren't you a smart one? So
Exactly.
I've learned a lot just attending your modules, you know, and being educated and being up to speed. Now, I have another question is are you saying that we can have access to Office 365 apps by typing in portal.office.com and then press the waffle and all those apps open up and then we can use them? And do we have to purchase the program?
So on portal.office.com, you will be able to access the free version of Office 365, which is a little bit more limited. So not all of the fancy tools and gadgets that you see on the desktop version or on the full-blown web version of Office
Okay.
365. I have a lot of apps on the left-hand side, like stuff like my analytics and bookings. That's because I have the Office 365 business subscription. You will not have access to these. These right here are just because my organization rolled out the 365 business subscription for us. But what you will have as just a base free user is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. You will have 5 gigabytes of OneDrive for free, and Outlook. So you will have all of those, but they will only be able to be accessed on portal.office.com. You will not be able to use them on the desktop version. So the limitation on that is you do have to have Wi-Fi to access them.
Okay. But it's at least it's enough to get familiar with it and, as you know, test drive it before you purchase it.
Exactly. And that's why
Okay.
I tell people this is to get your toes wet. Just start dipping your toes in the water, just so that you can, you know, make sure that you're familiar with it and you try it before you buy it.
No, and I like that, because that's nowadays, especially as a business owner, you know, everybody tells you this is the best program for you, but it may not necessarily fit into your business, you know, business plan, because you're not needing all of these features. You're only needing certain things. You know, QuickBooks is another area that gets highly recommended, but some businesses outgrow QuickBooks like that. And
Exactly.
from what I'm understanding, Microsoft is not something we're going to outgrow, you know, in a blink of an eye.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we have. So here's the other thing too, is we've got another question is, how does booking differ from Outlook calendar?
So Bookings is actually an application where your customers can book appointments with you, versus Outlook Calendar is something that you would set up meetings with, or people would request meetings from you. Bookings
Mm-hmm.
is kind of that offhand approach. I like to use a hair salon, for example. You set up bookings for your hair salon, and you can set the days and times that you will be available. Your customers can then request to have an appointment with you, versus somebody putting something on your Outlook calendar and just saying, hey, I need you to attend this meeting. This bookings gives you that control and allows you to set times for your customers and set boundaries with them as well, versus like Outlook. Bookings does tie in with Outlook. Say you do accept a booking, it will put it on your Outlook calendar. But bookings itself is just for your customers to see what times you're available.
So it's not available on home. It's only for business, Office 365 home, or
It's
Office 365 business only.
it's for businesses only. For if I remember correctly, I believe it is with the business premium license.
Okay. Okay. So I hope that helps, Al. Those are some great questions. I would have assumed automatically that it would have been in Office 365 for home, but I'm sure it wouldn't be relevant because that's more personal. Is that correct?
Yes, so Office 365 Home is going to be the subscription for just the average day-to-day consumer, versus business, which has those extra tools like bookings, like My Analytics, that are really geared towards businesses that a lot of consumer customers wouldn't be using. So we don't want to make them pay for stuff that they're not using, if that makes sense.
Great. Now I have one of our audience is asking, can we check Outlook emails from Microsoft Teams?
So emails are not integrated into Teams just yet. I believe that is one of the features that's kind of in the talks that may be, coming through hopefully soon, because that is something we have requested a lot of. But unfortunately, with Teams, Outlook is not integrated as far as the email side of things. Your calendar is, though. So anything that you have on your Outlook calendar will show up on your Microsoft Teams calendar, and vice versa. So it does have that sort of integration right there.
Great. No, that was a great question. So one of the other things too is you said that's in the works right now, right? So once we start integrating, is the Outlook email going to be integrated across the platforms, all of them? And I'm assuming
So
that's what you normally do.
So what we try to say Teams is that's the centralized hub for everything. So if we do integrate Outlook into Teams, we want to kind of keep it there, so you don't have to, move outside of any sort of like application. You can just kind of sit in your centralized hub. As far as rolling it out to say like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, it it slightly is right now, as far as you can hit the share button on a Word document and it can email it out to somebody through Outlook. That is something that is available currently. But as far as like checking your emails on Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that's not something that I believe will be rolled out anytime soon. But Teams, we're kind of pushing for that, because we want to only have one application open rather than 6 to get your work done.
Absolutely. Minimize open windows, minimize, I guess, possibility of being hacked. Chrissy, thank you so much for being here. I know that you're an extremely busy person, but the fact that you took time to spend 3 weeks with us, answer our questions, share what's up and coming, also, show us the difference between Microsoft 365 Home and Business. The other thing too is thank you for the time to sharing your team that's local, because not only just find her in the support link, but remember, she's also registered with Buy Local Grow SA. We really value the time that you spent with us. Great presentation, and it's always been a pleasure. And we look forward to hearing more great things about Microsoft. Thank you, Chrissy.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we will probably be inviting, we get some new things coming up, but here, remember when I said, Microsoft is registered on Buy Local Grow SA. Just want to remind you again, take the time to go in and register with our Buy Local Grow SA San Antonio. This site is set up for business owners like yourself that you can go through the website and access just numerous forms of resources. And once you get registered, you're able to promote not just your products and services, but you're able to see more visibility here in San Antonio. Take the opportunity to register. It takes about 5 minutes. Once you get registered, you're able to unlock a new way of doing business with San Antonio. But the other thing too is when we talk about doing business here in San Antonio and being supported, that is what the Maestro Center does. But who else supports us in the area? Remember, HEB is always here to partner up and support our businesses. Here's what they're doing. Take full advantage of this. Sabrina, can you show us where? That's it. 2020 HEB Opportunity Exchange, how to do business with HEB. We want you to succeed. HEB wants you to succeed. Go in and register, get your link. It's coming up here soon. Once you get your link, please don't share it because that link is specifically created just for you. Register for the event because they want to show you, empower you, direct you on how to do business with HEB. They're going to show you the framework of economic impact, the transformational, intentional, and then again, favorite word, pivoting into how to be able to do business with them, but pivoting in a tempo that's applicable to you. The other thing too is they want visibility. HEB is also asking you to do what, Sabrina? What are they doing next? What are they asking us to do with 90 seconds or less? See, for 2020 HEB Opportunity Exchange, they want you, encourage you to do a video, be part of the video expo. You want you to record 90 seconds max of a video containing information about your company name, the information about your product and services, and where your product can be found, whether it's a website, whether it's a storefront, if it's digital, your contact information. However, you cannot submit a YouTube video. I'm going to stress that. No YouTube videos, max 90 seconds. When you submit the recording, you're going to submit it to supplierdiversity@heb.com. It must be received by the 23rd of September via email. The subject title should be 2020 Opportunity Exchange and Expo. We need the name of your company and the name of the product. Simple, right? Again, I want to take time to thank everyone for being here because we want to be able to empower you and give you the necessary tools to be successful. One other thing too is the Maestro Entrepreneur Center. They're always wanting you to learn more about them. Take the time, give them a call, register an appointment, come out and take a look at our facility. And I say our because I belong to this community just as much as you do. Find out more about us. Follow us on Facebook on some of the things that we're doing. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us professionally at the Maestro Entrepreneur Center on LinkedIn. We always have videos that we want to share. And if you, for some reason you didn't get to attend this webinar, no biggie. We've got podcasts. Or go straight to the maestrocenter.org where you can download this information, go straight to the link, but don't miss out because we want to make sure that you're empowered at your level to find your new normal. These are the platforms that you can find us on. Right now, we're on seven different platforms where you can actually hear our podcast and find out great information from the subject matter experts. And thank you. Thank you for being here and joining us. But most importantly, we want to say thank you to our sponsors. Okay, our sponsors, which are HEB, Wells Fargo, the City San Antonio Economic Development Department. And you can never forget our supporters, all the chambers of commerce, the Westside Development Corporation, as well as the business development centers. Without them, this would not have been possible. But most importantly, the audience and those who take the time to join us on these webinars and live on Facebook. We're successful because we focus on you. Now talk about focusing on you. not just do we want to say thank you, but stay tuned. Give us a couple of minutes as we transition into the Spanish version of this webinar, which is Mejores Prácticas para continuar el viaje. Give us a couple of seconds, and we're going to transition to Spanish. Bienvenidos a todos. Hoy es miércoles, Webinar Wednesdays. Momento vamos a presentar la manera que podemos tener mejores prácticas para continuar el viaje con Microsoft. Tenemos 3 diferentes oportunidades de Microsoft que ha presentado. Pero lo que quiero presentar en este momento es, esta semana tenemos una organización de non-profit que ganó. La organización se llama, ¿qué, Sabrina? ¿Está la información? Aquí está. Military Vice Project. Es Dr. Marlon John. He's a retired U.S. Lieutenant Colonel from the Army. Ha presentado su información, que es una organización aquí en San Antonio, donde se enfoca a poder soportar a las familias militares y los veteranos en diferentes maneras, que en este momento dicen es un tiny home, que comenzaron para poder utilizar servicios para los veteranos y familias que por una razón u otra perdieron sus casas o están afuera en menos sin alguien que... Y gracias a él ha comenzado esa organización y proyecto para poder soportar y apoyar a nuestros veteranos y trabajar para conocer la manera que podemos avanzar otra vez en este tiempo. Está la información del negocio, y no este es un negocio, es un proyecto de un non-profit organizaciones. Está aquí en local, se puede encontrar en la dirección que está presentada, gracias a él para ser el ganador. Pero también tenemos oportunidad en otra manera que tenemos una semana más para poder ganar. Y Sabrina va a poner la información ahorita en este momento. Antes que avanzamos, los quiero también informarles de Buy Local Grow SA. Es sobre la información de Buy Local SA. Es un sitio web único de recursos para pequeñas empresas como ustedes. La plataforma está diseñada para dueños de negocios como ustedes, como les dijo. A través de ese sitio se puede notar los recursos gratis, y también si tienes oportunidades de presentar sus servicios, productos. También hay otras oportunidades de adecuación donde pueden promocionar sus negocios, y notar también que si están interesados en ciertos contratos, también los pueden guardar. Pero también tenemos otros mejores características nuevas que son posibles para publicar sus promociones comerciales, y también cuando pueden presentarse en su perfil. Y si acaso tienen una venta o servicio, pueden utilizar otra vez para, ¿cómo se dice?, a presentárselos, y también tienen oportunidad de guardar oportunidades, adecuaciones. Y si por una razón ustedes tienen una oportunidad de presentar un contrato, ahí mismo también lo pueden presentar. Solamente le toman como 5 minutos para poder registrarse, pero cuando prueba pueden desbloquear otra nueva manera de hacer negocios aquí en San Antonio. Si se notan aquí en la esquina, está el QR code que pueden usar su teléfono con la camarita, y lo mandan directo al website de Buy Local Grow SA, donde se pueden registrar. Now, estamos dando $500 para los negocios que se registran. tenemos una semana más donde se pueden registrar y ganar otros $500 para su negocio. El último día para registrarse es el 18 de septiembre. Una semana más que nos queda. Y queremos también la manera que queremos presentar dónde se pueden registrar. Pueden ir a Buy Local Grow SA y al mismo tiempo los pueden seguir en Facebook, también en Instagram. Ahorita va a presentar la información Sabrina. Aquí está la información en Facebook y seguirlos en Instagram. También los pueden ver en LinkedIn. Podemos comparar en una publicación, también a reconocer otro negocio, donde pueden ponerles un hashtag también, donde está hashtag Buy Local Grow SA. Y como les digo, les queda una semana más para poder aprovechar esta oportunidad. Y también les quiero dar gracias por estar aquí presentados, pero más también les quiero dar gracias a nuestros patrocinadores que nos han ayudado a hacer esto posible. Sabrina está presentando donde estamos viendo que es H-E-B, Wells Fargo, la ciudad de San Antonio, el Departamento de Desarrollo Económico y también para nuestros negocios donde están los soportantes que están anotando aquí en la pantalla. Pero aquí no están nomás para anotar lo que estamos haciendo nosotros. Aquí queremos aportarlos, a apoyarlos y a presentar el módulo final que Estrella Davilar que está presentando. Es una especialista en entrenamiento de Microsoft. Now, ella estaba al principio, cuando comienza ella presenta la información de Microsoft y su trabajo consiste a enseñar y explicar las maneras que pueden utilizar las aplicaciones de Microsoft 365. Ella demuestra a los empleos de cada empresa cooperativas, pero también demuestra el poder del éxito de las resultas de conocimiento del servicio de Microsoft para todos los clientes que ella le presenta. Estrella, gracias por estar aquí presentada y la oportunidad a poder platicar contigo y los que vas a presentarlos en este final módulo de Microsoft.
Hola, buenos días, gracias. Voy a compartir mi pantalla. Aquí un segundito. A ver, ¿sí puedo ver mi pantalla?
Claro que sí.
Ok.
Dime tú. Estoy lista porque ya sé que hay diferentes maneras que podemos proteger nuestro negocio y también los servicios que está presentando Microsoft.
Definitivamente. Desafortunadamente, algunas de las páginas sí van a estar en inglés, pero por la mayoría sí van a estar en español, pero los que voy a explicar lo que vean en la pantalla. Pero de inmediato, nomás quiero decir que esto no es para asustar a nadie. Solo son estadísticas que queremos asegurarnos mencionar para enseñar qué tan importante mantener sus negocios seguros es. Alrededor de 60% de las empresas fallan después de un incumplimiento. Casi el 50% de las pequeñas empresas han sufrido de un ataque cibernético. Aquí tenemos algunas de las cuentas. Ahora estamos en la página verificada de Microsoft. Si nos dirigimos hacia abajo, vamos a ver las industrias más afectadas ahorita. Y el primero, como ven aquí, la línea azul muy grande, es educación. Educación es la industria más afectada ahorita. Y después de educación están empresas y servicios profesionales, que esos van a ser los dos más vulnerables a los ataques ahorita en los últimos 30 días. Al final de la página, sí, exactamente. Y creo que tiene que ver la educación por cómo estamos comenzando las escuelas otra vez. Es una gran corporación que tenemos que proteger.
Esos ataques, estamos aquí platicando sobre la manera que lo está soportando Microsoft. Esos ataques están sucediendo en este momento. Esos son, como dicen, hard data de este momento.
Exacto. Sí, y cada vez que entren a esta página, va a ser los datos más recientes. Cada vez estamos asegurando que tengan la información correcta para este momento. Como ven aquí tenemos 9.123.000 casos y todo esto. So, tenemos que tener mucho cuidado con esto. Y como miramos al final de la página, no voy a seleccionar ningún enlace hoy, pero quería que vieran que estos términos parecen mucho cuando hablamos de administraciones, de dispositivos y protección y seguridad. Perdón.
No. Es que cada vez que los ponemos a platicar contigo, Estrella, siempre los presentas aplicaciones y servicios y nunca dices que son perfectos, pero es la manera que a evitar. Y tú siempre los presentas información en 3. So, la primera cosa que estoy viendo es ransomware. So, tú me vas a decir, hay 3 áreas o 3 diferentes programas que están utilizando para poder proteger.
Sí, exactamente. Hay 3 diferentes, pero casi siempre vamos a ver programas malignos que cuando descargas algo que fuera enlaces falsos, cosas así. Y luego también tenemos phishing, que es algo que pasa más con correos electrónicos. Como si una cuenta de banco supuestamente necesita tus credenciales, lo más probable es que es un phishing tratando de sacar información. Pero por eso tenemos 3 diferentes productos que se conectan uno a otro cuando están trabajando de asegurar tus dispositivos. Y el primero de que quiero hablar va a ser Microsoft Intune. Voy a meterme a esta próxima página. Eso es la gestión de dispositivos sin comprometer tu control. El control de tu negocio, por supuesto. Esto es algo automático que su IT puede crear para su compañía. Cuando un nuevo empleado recibe su dispositivo de la compañía, tú puedes administrar para verificar lo que sí o no puede hacer en ese dispositivo. Y también te da a saber si el dispositivo no está seguro. Si esto pasa, tu dispositivo va a recibir una notificación que dice que su dispositivo necesita cumplir con una cierta calificación para continuar. Si no califica, entonces va a sacar al empleado de todo lo que se pertenece a la compañía para asegurar que la información de tu compañía esté protegida. También tenemos expertos de implementación para Intune, que fuera este cuadrito aquí en la derecha. Ellos te pueden ayudar a establecer y después ayudarte a administrar. Si estás un poco confundido de cómo trabaja esto o quieres que Intune haga algo en específico, estos expertos te pueden ayudar un paso a la vez a cualquier tiempo del día. Por supuesto, aquí en Microsoft, nosotros de entrenamiento estamos aquí a ciertas horas, pero en esta página aquí puedes comunicarte con alguien que te pueda ayudar con Intune 24 horas del día.
Lo que me vas a decir que este programa, esta aplicación, ¿cómo se dice? ¿Puedes poner authentication, que dicen en inglés?
Sí, por supuesto.
Pero es del principio, antes que comience la aplicación de Microsoft, ¿verdad? Y también se puede utilizar con otro tipo de programas, porque lo que estoy pensando ahorita es, me introduciste a VPNs, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Y trabajan uno con el otro programa, ¿verdad?
Sí, esa es la mejor parte de Microsoft Intune, es que esto se conecta uno a otro, como estábamos hablando antes en la sesión pasada de el flujo de una aplicación a otra. Esto también trabaja igual. No tiene que ser algo de Microsoft. Si ustedes usan otra plataforma, Intune puede ayudar con eso también. El goal, como dicen, para nosotros aquí es para proteger sus dispositivos y la información, por supuesto.
Está bien, me gusta. Y más porque ahorita tengo todas mis pantallas abiertas, tengo mi computador, tengo el programa, estoy viendo a Microsoft y están notando aquí información, dice, estás protegida, pone el update. Y dije, está bien, me están defendiendo. Y eso es lo que me gusta de Microsoft, porque hay también un programa que me defiende, ¿verdad?
Sí, exactamente. Muchas personas preguntan de antivirus y
Ujú,
cuál es el mejor antivirus, pero afortunadamente cada computadora de Windows 10 ya tiene antivirus instalado que se llama Microsoft Defender. Y me voy a
ujú.
meter a esta próxima página. Esta es la página am, principal de Microsoft Defender. Y, ¿cómo se dice? A ver. Y para negocios también tenemos Microsoft Defender Protector de amenazas avanzadas, que es
Ujú.
el sistema completo de asegurar para que las empresas estén protegidas de rescates o phishing, cosas así. Y también si vamos para abajo vemos que tenemos analíticos. No nomás te va a proteger, pero también te va a dar la información que necesitas para ver que sí está funcionando y qué es lo que ha atrapado ahorita. La mejor parte es que nunca tienes que actualizar esto y nunca tendrás que actualizar un nuevo paquete como lo tienes que hacer con la mayoría de servicios. Esto se
Claro.
actualizará automáticamente para usted cada vez que salga algo nuevo para su dispositivo.
Lo que me estás diciendo, Estrella, es que cuando me registro al principio, entro a todos los programas, entro mi correo electrónico, identifica el número móvil y todo está protegido.
Exactamente. Esta aplicación va a ser tus ojos para cuando las cosas que no ves o hasta antes que veas algo, esta aplicación va a asegurar que todo esté perfectamente seguro para tu compañía y los datos de tus clientes y todo eso.
También dijiste tú que estaba identificando los posibles infracciones que están presentándose o un attack de, como se dice, ransomware. Él identifica y te presenta el reporte para que puedas conocer la historia de dónde comenzó, ¿verdad?
Exactamente, sí, va a enseñar lo que estaba pasando, lo que hicieron para arreglar esto, lo que notaron y cuándo pasó. Y cada vez que entres a ver tus analíticos,
Ujú,
te va a enseñar la versión más reciente para
ujú.
que nunca tengas que preguntar esto era de cuándo o estoy viendo lo más reciente. Siempre vas a tener los datos más recientes posibles para que sepas cuándo pasó esto y que ya se resolvió.
Y si acaso, por una razón u otra, resulta en un ataque, también te van a mandar una resolución para
Sí.
poder ah, cubrir tu información, porque la cosa que me da pendiente también es, por ejemplo, mis cuentas de mi banco, ¿verdad? Porque los
Ujú.
tengo en el teléfono, les tengo en mi tableta, la tengo en la computadora. Y si tú me estás diciendo que están identificación de qué fue lo que que me resultó, que ellos van a mandar la identificación de los resultados y también me van a mandar la manera que puedo recuperar la
Ujú.
información y mantener protegido, ¿verdad?
Sí, exactamente. De ahí me quiero mover a la próxima página.
Ujú.
Hemos hablado mucho de dispositivos de trabajo, pero muchos empleados se están constantemente moviendo. Trabajar desde el teléfono es algo que vemos ahora más que nunca, ¿verdad? Um,
Ujú.
¿Cómo podemos proteger a su información de trabajo en el teléfono de Android o iOS? Pues de allí me quiero meter a esta próxima página que estamos viendo y esta es la gestión de dispositivos móviles. Cuando ya traiga mi licencia para negocios de Microsoft y tienes tu Microsoft Intune, puedes empezar a implementar la gestión de dispositivos móviles. So, nos, te vas a te tendrías que meter a M365, el centro de
Ujú.
administración, y encontrarás el botón que dice gestión de dispositivos móviles, que fuera esto, como se mira en esta pantallita. Esta página ahorita me está enseñando paso por paso cómo completar esto. Eh,
Ujú.
y de ahí después puedo hacer una muchísimas cosas, de verdad. Como por ejemplo, si alguien ya no trabaja para mí, pero se quedó con el teléfono o dispositivo que les había prestado de la compañía y no te lo quieren regresar o se fueron antes de que lo puedas recuperar, puedes borrar todo de la compañía de donde estés y donde esté la computadora. Cualquier información de clientes o trabajo ya no lo tendrán en el dispositivo hasta si ellos lo tienen en mano. De donde tú estés lo puedes quitar y también puedes implementar las políticas del dispositivo como contraseñas y las configuraciones de requisitos y más.
Pero solamente nomás los documentos y la información del negocio, ¿verdad? Las cosas personales no se le aplican a esos también, ¿verdad?
No, sí, es un muy buen punto ahí. Como yo, por ejemplo, yo tengo Outlook y diferentes cosas del trabajo aquí en mi teléfono.
Ujú.
Pero si yo un día me muevo a diferente posición de Microsoft o algo más y ya no me pertenecen esos documentos, Microsoft puede borrar lo que tenga que ver con su compañía, pero yo todavía tengo mis fotos, mis mensajes, todo eso, lo que me pertenezca a mí, ellos no tocan.
Ok, está bien. ¿Y de dónde podemos encontrar todo eso? Porque como se dice, siempre buscamos la manera de tener algo central. ¿Ok? Y aquí,
Ujú.
¿cómo se aplica eso? ¿Con negocio o personal? Como dice, ¿qué es el centralized hub?
Nuestro centralized hub va a ser Teams y
¿Ok?
Teams es donde puedes chatear, compartir archivos, crear y unirte a juntas, etc. Teams es el lugar
Ujú.
centralizado, seguro y para su negocio. No es nada más para negocios, pero también es para educación, para estudiantes, para que puedan comunicarse uno a otro y hasta atender clases. Si nos movemos un poco para abajo de la
Ujú.
pantalla, aquí vamos a ver que puedes hacer llamadas, hasta compartir tu pantalla, ver aplicaciones y el flujo del trabajo. Como la última sesión que tuvimos, hablamos de automatizaciones y aquí
Sí.
es donde se conecta todo. También como estamos hablando de cumplimiento y privacidad, Teams es seguro y no nomás para negocios chiquitos, pero también para empresas grandes.
No, claro que sí. Pero esto está asegurado también, ¿verdad? Para asegurar que dicen en inglés security compliance.
Sí, Teams está diseñado a proteger tu privacidad y y para que sepas exactamente todo sobre los recopilación, el uso y la distribución de sus datos. Por ejemplo, si estoy en una llamada, específicamente una videollamada, y alguien comienza a grabar,
Ujú.
Teams me va a dar una notificación el segundo que comience la grabación para que yo sepa y puedo decidir si me quiero salir de la llamada porque no quiero estar en la grabación o puedo
Ujú.
dar permiso que estoy dando el permiso de que si estoy en la llamada,
Ujú.
pueden grabar mi cámara o mi voz, si las tengo prendidas, por supuesto.
Ujú. No, está bien.
Ujú.
Pero también esas oportunidades, como dices tú, en el email también, cuando mandas correos electrónicos, hay también, han notado que también Microsoft tiene un programa que podemos utilizar que le reconocen como Outlook, ¿verdad? Esas también aplicaciones aseguran el Outlook.
Sí, por supuesto. Pero antes de meterme en Outlook, nomás quería mencionar unas cuantas
Sí,
cosas de Teams antes de seguir.
claro. Ujú.
Microsoft Teams está diseñado con tu IT en mente para que sea fácil para los administradores, para administrar tus archivos, datos y todo lo demás dentro de Teams. Nunca tendrás que preocuparte de llamar para
Ujú.
instalar para instalación de seguridad. En cada cuenta de Teams ya está
Ujú.
instalada automáticamente. A ver, aquí voy.
Pero eso es con Teams, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Sí.
Con Teams va a tener eso automáticamente instalado. Y últimamente en Teams tenemos soporte para más de 90 regulaciones y normas.
Ujú.
Sus administradores controlan lo que pasa con los datos de la compañía, fácilmente pueden accesar información si de ahí hay conflicto de intereses, acoso, etcétera, etcétera.
Ujú.
Pueden todavía agarrar esos datos para usarlos eficientemente, por supuesto. Y como estábamos hablando de Outlook, Outlook tiene alojamientos gratis para correo electrónico. Outlook es tu calendario y correo electrónico todo en uno. En Teams podemos crear juntas en el calendario, pero también puedes crear juntas en Outlook. Y cuando creas una
Okay.
junta, mientras sea Outlook o Teams, las dos aplicaciones se sincronizan una a otra. Los datos de Outlook están configurados bajo su control y no más de usted. Pero, por supuesto, si tienes Intune o políticas de empresas, se pueden aplicar a su Outlook así también. Pero si estás usando Outlook fuera de su compañía, sí tienes tus propios datos que puedes controlar a su preferencia.
So, dime tú, ¿qué son unos tipos de oportunidades que se presenta Outlook con el calendario que podemos utilizar, no nomás con negocio, pero personales también? Porque la aplicación de un negocio es diferente a algo personal, ¿verdad?
Sí, exactamente. Con seguridad de grado empresarial, toda tu información está encriptado y está protegido contra ciberataques. ¿Cómo se dice? Cuando estoy haciendo algo con perdón, la mejor parte de Outlook es que no importa si tienes una cuenta regular o si es una cuenta de empresa, vas a tener el mismo tipo de seguridad para tus datos, porque yo sé que fuera y dentro de tu organización, tus datos son importantes. Otra cosa que quiero enseñar es la protección. Con Outlook, sus compañías pueden confiar en la desafectación automáticamente de enlaces que contienen estafas de phishing, virus o malware. Ahora diremos que su correo electrónico está hackeado, ¿verdad? Tenemos una opción de recuperación para mantener todos sus archivos importantes en OneDrive. Pero eso es una característica que viene en la versión premium y no la gratis, desafortunadamente. Pero finalmente Outlook no nomás es accesible en tu computadora, pero también tenemos una aplicación gratis para el celular por si quisiera la opción para leer sus correos mientras está fuera de la oficina, pero por supuesto no es obligatorio y simplemente añadiera su correo electrónico y le mandaría un mensaje con un enlace para tu correo para poder añadirlo a su teléfono. Y antes de cerrar, quiero introducir nuestro equipo de Microsoft para información y preguntas sobre cualquier cosa de entrenamiento. Voy a abrir esta página aquí.
Antes que cambie, ¿sabes lo que yo descubrí de Outlook? Y porque tomé oportunidad a ir a portal.office.com. Yo descubrí, porque tenía problemas registrando mis emails, ¿verdad? Outlook lo hizo tan fácil para poder registrar todos mis emails en un programa central, porque tengo para mi negocio, tengo para mis estudios, tengo mi correo personal y lo que yo descubrí es que perdí el password, ¿verdad? Y Microsoft me ayudó a recuperar todos mis correos electrónicos y ponerlo en el programa central donde puedo notar todos los correos que me vienen. Nunca había descubierto si no hubiera tomado este programa.
Sí, exactamente.
So,
Esta portal.office.com es mi favorita página de todas, por supuesto. Si seleccionamos estos cuadritos en la esquina de la izquierda, veremos que tenemos unas cuantas aplicaciones aquí, pero si selecciono todas mis aplicaciones abajo de mis analíticos, ahí está. Tengo muchas más opciones. Por supuesto, esto depende de su paquete de Office. Por supuesto, hay diferentes aplicaciones que tienen acceso a, pero portal.office.com es algo completamente gratis, hasta para alguien que no tiene paquete. Puede usar Word, PowerPoint, diferentes cosas así para intentar las aplicaciones, ver qué es lo que necesitan para su compañía, y de allí pueden ver qué es lo que necesitan más. Por supuesto, los que son gratis van a estar un poco limitados en lo que puedan hacer porque es la versión gratis, por supuesto, pero si es algo que va a beneficiar su compañía, de allí es cuando pueden hablar con nuestro equipo para hacer upgrade a algo más con más features para su compañía.
So, los caracteres que están presentados aquí, las aplicaciones aquí, son solamente gratis. Pero una pregunta, los que son gratis, ¿nomás se pueden ver sobre el portal con el internet nomás o lo puedes hacer download?
So, los que son gratis nomás se va a poder hacer por el portal. Cuando ya agarres tu paquete para tu empresa o compañía, negocio, ahí es cuando puedes agarrar la aplicación para tu desktop o puedes hacer diferentes cosas y tu acceso también va a ser mucho más grande. Pero para los que son gratis, por supuesto, nomás se pueden usar aquí en portal.office.com.
Hablamos sobre Outlook, ¿verdad? Pero también estoy notando aquí Booking. ¿Son lo mismo o nomás unos para negocio y el otro para personal?
So, Booking va a ser más como tú puedes poner tus tiempos y clientes pueden ver qué funciona mejor para ellos y pueden tratar de, ¿cómo se dice? Book un tiempo
¿Una cita?
contigo. Una cita, exactamente, gracias. Pueden crear una cita con usted usando los tiempos que puso que estás libre para hablar. Cuando estamos Outlook, ahí no tiene la flexibilidad de poner los tiempos que estás libre. Ahí era donde nomás haces tu junta y se lo mandas. So ahí ya tendrías los tiempos puestos, el tiempo designado para esa junta, en vez de con Booking tienes opciones.
So, el Booking es más para la licencia que tienen para el negocio, para una empresa, ¿verdad? Y Outlook también se puede usar, se pueden utilizar con un negocio, pero también es más para personal.
Sí, exacto. Y cuando estoy haciendo juntas, me gusta usar Teams también. Teams es un buen lugar para crear juntas. Y especialmente cuando estoy trabajando con alguien adentro de mi organización, puedo ver los horarios de ellos. No puedo ver lo que están haciendo, por supuesto, por privacidad, pero con Teams puedo ver qué tiempos están libres para poder hacer mi junta ese tiempo. So, Teams es otra opción también que yo uso todos los días.
No, está bien, gracias. Porque en veces, en realidad estoy despierta a las 11, 12 de la noche, ¿verdad? Y ya sé que en ese momento, Estrella, no hay oportunidad de platicar contigo. So, dirígeme dónde puedo recibir ese tipo de apoyo o un programa donde puedo notar qué se puede usar o qué programa puedo recibir ayuda, ¿verdad? Porque aunque sea en la medio de la noche, hay programas o videos que me pueden ayudar. ¿Dónde puedo recibir ese tipo de apoyo?
Por supuesto. So, esta es la página de soporte. So, va a ser support.microsoft.com. Y esta página es el lugar que no nomás ustedes tienen acceso a, pero nosotros hasta empleados de Microsoft usamos. Nuestras aplicaciones tienen muchas cosas integradas. So, es un poco difícil para saber cada cosa de esa aplicación. So, aquí tenemos 8 diferentes aplicaciones, pero no están limitadas a eso. También tenemos más aplicaciones de Office aquí. Y si selecciono eso, me va a dar todas las aplicaciones que tengo acceso a, agarrando entrenamientos y ayuda en lista de Atruzeta. Pero como nosotros agarramos muchas preguntas de Excel, que es una de las aplicaciones más difíciles de entender a veces o aprender. Esta es una que me gusta usar como ejemplo. So aquí tenemos unos cuantos videos, podemos ver cómo planear, también podemos ver diferentes cosas así, ¿verdad? Podemos ver cómo comenzar, las fórmulas, todo eso. Pero en cualquier página que estés en soporte, verá este cuadro aquí que me va a dejar escribir cualquier pregunta que tenga. Y no tiene que ser una pregunta, sino más quiero preguntar de un tema, como diremos pivot tables. Puedo escribir esto. Y cuando hago esto me va a dar una página con todos los diferentes enlaces que me va a dar diferentes opciones, como para cambiar el estilo de mi pivot table, refrescar mi pivot table, diferentes cosas así. Y cuando selecciono uno de estos, la razón que me gusta usar tanto support es que si selecciono uno, me va a dar un poquito de una descripción, y si voy para abajo me va a dar paso por paso cómo poder completar es lo que estoy buscando hacer. Tengo la opción de hacerlo en Windows, o también si estoy usando la red. Ahorita no lo puedo ver porque estoy en Windows, pero por supuesto tendría esa opción.
También estaba notando es que en la ventanita antes donde dice go back, donde está la información en español, también noté donde puedes cambiar la idioma, porque para mí ahorita es bien importante que las personas que están presentando ahorita y escuchándolos, que notan que no nomás están en inglés, también se puede a cambiar el idioma que le aplica a uno mismo, ¿verdad?
Sí, algunas aplicaciones no tendrás accesibilidad, nomás por, pues yo específicamente no tengo esa accesibilidad a veces porque como está registrado mi cuenta, pero si vamos para abajo de las páginas de Microsoft, verá que tenemos ahorita en inglés. Si selecciono esto, me va a dar todos los idiomas que yo tengo opción de usar. Por ejemplo, si quiero usar español México, nomás voy a seleccionar eso, pero verá que tenemos todos estos diferentes españoles aquí, de Guatemala, Venezuela, etcétera, etcétera.
Y sabes que también es importante que estamos notando que si te fijaste es que el español de Panamá, el español de México, el español de Perú, porque el dialect es diferente en español, igual como otro tipo de idiomas, como árabe tiene diferentes dialects también. So, gracias por por notando la diferencia. Pero Estrella, si acaso no puedo comunicarme contigo, ¿quién es el equipo que puedo mandarle un correo electrónico o quién puedo conocer que me puedas apoyar en, por ejemplo, mis hijos ahorita que están en la escuela con educación o si quiero comprar otra aplicación?
Okay.
¿Cuál es el equipo donde puedo ir a reconocer?
Un segundito.
Ay, okay.
Este es nuestro equipo de Microsoft para información y preguntas sobre cualquier cosa de entrenamientos. Como para entrenamientos, la persona con quien me comunicara fuera Matthew, que es conductor de soluciones para entrenamientos, para dispositivos, accesorios, etcétera, y también descuentos. Tenemos a Jessica aquí, que es la conductora de negocios, y es con quien comunicarse. Si conoces a alguien que está en educación o eres educador o también para estudiantes, Hunter es tu especialista de la área de educación. Y finalmente, para nube o cualquier otra necesidad de licencias, Luis está especializado en cualquier tipo de licencia. Y abajo está la información de cada una. Aquí veremos que tenemos los emails de cada persona aquí y se puede conectar con ellos. Y por supuesto, abajo tenemos nuestra página de soporte. Y nosotros somos el equipo de la tienda 20 de Microsoft.
Me siento que hay tanta información, pero hay una pregunta que los hicieron en inglés y la quiero preguntar otra vez. En el Office 365, ¿esa se encuentra en Outlook Premium nomás o también en personal?
Outlook, la aplicación sola, es algo gratis que puedes usar como individual, pero para compañías eso si fuera un diferente paquete. Hay diferentes niveles de paquetes si eso fuera algo con quien me comunicara con Jessica, porque todo depende en su compañía y las necesidades de la compañía, por supuesto. Y tenemos diferentes opciones y con cada paquete vienen diferentes aplicaciones que puede beneficiar su compañía. Pero sí, no todas las aplicaciones fluyen de un paquete a otro. Por eso fuera Jessica con quien me comunicara para eso.
Ay, gracias, porque hay tanta información que yo a veces me pierdo en reconociendo qué programas se puede usar que es gratis, porque en realidad quiero demostrar que entiendo antes que voy a comprar algo. Y si manejo y compro algo nuevo que de veras no se aplica a mi negocio, pues perdí dinero. Y lo que me gusta también es que puedes ir a Portal, ¿verdad? Para puedes conocer esas aplicaciones gratis y ponerte a conocerlos y cómo se aplican, ¿verdad?
Sí, Portal de verdad es una gran página para comenzar. Y también cuando ya tengas tu paquete, también puedes entrar ahí y es el lado central para poder encontrar todas mis aplicaciones más fácil. No tengo, si no quiero descargar nada a mi desktop, no tengo que hacer eso, pero por supuesto es una opción, pero Portal va a ser el lugar central para comenzar a ver qué es lo que funciona para mi compañía, qué es lo que necesito, y de allí es cuando yo hablará con Jessica, pero por supuesto para comenzar y ver, Portal va a tener todas las aplicaciones gratis a mano para ustedes para usar, y ya cuando tengan su paquete es cuando pueden entrar con sus credenciales de trabajo y ahí van a tener todo lo demás que tienen acceso a.
Y también te puedo llamar a ti, mandarte un correo electrónico, comunicarte contigo y tú me vas a demostrar, mira, Juanita, vamos a entrar aquí, deja de mostrar para ti y lista, estoy lista, ¿verdad?
Sí, exacto. Cuando ya agarras tus paquetes, tenemos entrenamiento gratis para cualquier tipo de aplicación de Office y podemos hacer cuantas quieras. Si quieres ver Outlook 10 veces, nosotros te presentamos Outlook 10 veces completamente gratis. Queremos estar asegurados que sepas cómo usar cada parte de Outlook y Teams y Word, porque pagaste para eso, ¿verdad? Y queremos estar seguros que pueden beneficiar de todo lo que tiene que ofrecer las
Claro.
aplicaciones.
Estrella, gracias. Esa información, bueno, yo del comienzo de todos estos modulos comencé practicando con mi propio Outlook, ¿verdad? Y entendí tanto más y ahorita estoy usando las aplicaciones porque puse un pivot table con Windows. Y yo me estaba yo misma me fasciné porque yo no sabía que podía hacerlo. So, gracias, porque eso aprendí aquí con este programa. Pero en este momento, si hay una pregunta, por favor, háganla en este momento porque aprovechen que tenemos a Microsoft aquí live y están aquí para apoyarles y demostrar lo que más necesitan. Y si tienen una pregunta, por favor, hágansela a Estrella. Aquí está lista para responder y también dirigirles qué es lo más importante en esa pregunta que tengan. Si hay una, por favor, háganla en el question, en la cajita de question o en la cajita de chat. Pero si no, antes que comience la pregunta, también quiero informarles sobre Buy Local Grow SA. Otra vez es un sitio web donde se pueden utilizar recursos para sus pequeños negocios o empresas. Es una plataforma absolutamente gratis donde pueden presentar sus productos, servicios y aprovechen oportunidades de adecuación y promoción de sus negocios. Si acaso encuentran una contrata, pueden, ay Dios mío, pueden volver y notar que la pueden guardar. Y también si ustedes tienen una oportunidad de contrato, pueden presentarla. Cuando se registran, solamente le toman como unos 5 minutos para registrarse y cuando ya reciben su prueba, pueden desbloquear la oportunidad de hacer negocio aquí en San Antonio. Hoy tuvimos a Estrella presentando sobre Microsoft. Estrella, gracias por la oportunidad que los dices para poder presentar. Como siempre, vienes con tanta información y oportunidad a poder apoyar nuestros negocios y avanzar. So, gracias y otra vez le quiero decir que solamente tenemos una semana para dar otros $500 para un negocio. El último día para registrarse es el 18 de septiembre y la manera que pueden registrarse otra vez es yendo a Buy Local Grow SA o síguenlos en Facebook. Ahorita van a presentar. Síguenlos en Facebook o en Instagram. También pueden conectar con nosotros en LinkedIn. Pueden comparar con una plataforma pública y también pueden usar hashtag Buy Local Grow SA para poder registrarse. Solamente queda una semana más y como siempre para poder apoyarlos, aquí está para darles más información también como HEB. HEB siempre busca la manera a poder apoyar el 2022 HEB Oportunidad de Exchange. Cómo hacer negocio con HEB. Es un framing de Economic Impact. Regístrense. Van a presentar el septiembre de 28, de 8:30 a 2. Pueden ir al sitio donde dicen www.eventbrite.com, donde se pueden registrar y recibir un enlace del evento. Por favor, no comparar ese enlace porque es solamente para la persona que se registra buscando oportunidad de hacer negocio con HEB. Pero como siempre, HEB busca la manera para poder apoyar la comunidad. Lo que están haciendo ahorita HEB, están ¿dónde está? El 2022 HEB Opportunity Exchange, donde están pidiendo que hagan un video para el Expo. Ahorita va a presentar Sabrina la slide. Ahí está. Quieren que grabe un video de no más de 90 segundos máximo, donde se inscriben y pueden poner su nombre de la empresa, la información sobre su producto o servicio y donde se puede encontrar su producto o servicio será el sitio web, también la información de contacto. Quieren que le envíen a supplier diversity@heb.com antes del 23 de octubre. Se aseguran que no sea más de 90 segundos. No pueden usar YouTube videos, no se permite. Máximo 90 segundos y cuando terminen su video, quieren que se lo manden por correo electrónico a Opportunity Exchange and Expo 2020. Le ponen su nombre de la empresa, el nombre del producto y que se aseguren que sea antes del 23 de septiembre. Necesito agua. Pero toman la oportunidad de registrarse con Buy Local Grow SA, donde el Maestro Entrepreneur Center quieren que aprendan más sobre el Maestro Center. Si están notando aquí, hay la información para lo que presenta el Maestro Center está aquí enfrente de ustedes, pero llámenles, hagan una cita para que vayan a conocer el Maestro Entrepreneur Center. Tienen oportunidad no nomás con recursos, pero para que puedan utilizar el edificio del Maestro Entrepreneur Center. Y pueden seguirlos en Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, su negocio profesional en LinkedIn. También estamos en YouTube. Si acaso no pudieran estar presentes aquí con el webinar, no se preocupen. También tenemos el podcast, donde están notando aquí, tenemos el podcast con el Maestro Entrepreneur Center. Estamos aquí en 7 diferentes plataformas donde pueden escuchar los webinars. Y más importante, queremos asegurar que los apoyamos para que puedan avanzar sus empresas. Y como siempre, queremos dar gracias a nuestros patrocinadores que ayudan a hacer esto todo posible. H-E-B, la ciudad de San Antonio, el Departamento de Desarrollo Económico, Wells Fargo y como siempre, todos los que se apoyan que están presentados aquí. Estamos aquí presentando absolutamente gratis. Les damos gracias a ustedes y los vemos el próximo miércoles.